So moving on, we're now going to go to the Workbench. Yay! And as you know, last week the Workbench, we got off of technical things and we decided that we were going to talk about things that Brent makes with his machine. So we decided to, I showed you what we were doing with a panel. And I did have 2 submissions for our panel thing. And so did you want to show what people have come up with? I know. I believe that was Victoria did that one.
Oh, Victoria. I love it. Look, she did borders already.
I know.
Wow.
And then also Amanda did one.
Very nice. Okay. I might have had a sneak proof of Amanda's. Look at the head. She decapitated him. She literally decapitated him. Okay, now in the elbows, look, she marched down on the elbows. Go down to the feet.
Amanda just made an interesting point about Doctor Who and Schrodinger. Yes, that's what I was talking about.
What?
Yes, nothing. It goes back to what I was talking about with the coincidences.
Now, the only way I would have improved on that, Amanda, is a nice big black strip right near the pelvis.
Coming down?
Go across.
I'm going to. Have you ever watched Empire Records?
Nicely done.
Okay, so in Empire Records, there's this part where like Guar is singing.
Those are really beautiful.
Yeah, there's some blurred out parts that I never picked up on until I was an adult. Anyway, so that's what was done with
the.
They look. Now,
I love it.
that's priming you all to see what I did.
Oh, we're not done with the challenge. The challenge continues.
The challenge continues. So what
Wait, remind us what the challenge was.
To do something with a panel.
Oh,
Yeah,
to be creative
with
with
the
a panel.
Now what started?
Yeah, just not stick it in the middle of a board and call it a day.
And so what started this was the idea that I wanted to make something to make a sample of so that people would buy fabric that's been sitting on the shelf. And originally I was going to do it out of ombre. See, look at ombre.
Sensor bar. Yes, Amanda, thank you. A sensor bar.
Yes, sensor bar. See, so this is ombre.
Although your
that's what I
skeleton didn't look very
originally
well
wanted
endowed.
to use for this project. But I was like, I'd rather do this panel of the cityscape. But when I was putting it together, I realized I can do both. And let me show you what we did, or I did.
You did it all.
I did it all.
That's amazing.
Why did you just say we, Danny?
I don't know.
Help?
No, that's why
I was trying to, give my team some credit for
Okay.
supporting me.
But nobody did.
So,
Wow.
so that's all all I did is
And okay, you're showing off something you've done that's really nice.
I knew that you were going to pick this thread
And
off
you
it.
leave
Yeah.
all these threads on there.
The point is a we.
Why?
We all took turns following you around like cleaning up your
Look
mess.
at how he leaves these threads.
Well, I didn't get around to
my-
finishing. I just got this finished like
I know,
an
but
hour
you
before we
should
had to.
clip your threads that you go, Brent.
Because you only started it after you...
I had it all planned. I had it in my head, and I had to get it out of my head.
I absolutely love this.
So-
I wish you could hold it up higher because it looks
Yeah.
like a coffin.
Looks
Oh,
like stained
look, it
glass.
almost looked like you had shorts on there for a minute.
Yeah. But anyway, so that the borders on this, it was just that ombre that I held up, and all I did was I took my ruler, because I have to explain to you how this was made, so when you want to make this after I hang it up.
You actually have angles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all I did is I took my ruler and I lined it up with the panel that we made last week, and I measured it. I did a straight line through the corner and went 3 inches off of each of these corners. The corner here, here, and here, and just went 3 inches off my ruler and cut that angle. That's all I did.
Sit down.
So that's all. Can you hold that side so I can? So
I
if,
don't cut it?
Yeah, no. So all we did to get this angle is, you see you have a corner here? So I just lined my ruler up on there and cut 3 inches off of that corner so that I have because I knew that this was 3 inches too, so I have like a 3-inch border all the way around. So that's what got me my angle. Then all I did is I would say you need 2.5 yards of this, and I took 2.5 yards of this and just cut 3-inch strips parallel to the salvage. And then I used those strips starting with the darkest, worked my way around, doing the angled corners first. Yeah, and you're looking at that. The other thing I did as well, because the proportions irritate me on panels. They're too skinny.
Well, especially when you cut them up.
Yes, but they're too skinny. They're too skinny and too long. So what I did is, on the sides I did 3.5-inch strips. On the top I did 1.5 inches. So I would cut the strips in half.
Plus, it really stepped nice.
It steps nicely. And then what that did is that made the panel a little bit wider, a little bit shorter, so the proportions, I liked it better. So you'll see the top strips are an inch and a
short.
half,
I'm trying to hold
side
it way
strips are
up high.
3. But that's all I did. I just stripped
But
the
all
ombre.
he did, all he
That's
did.
all I did. I stripped that ombre fabric.
Nice to work in a fabric store where you can just go to the shop and go, I think I'll use this.
And like I said,
I think I'll use this.
2.5 yards of ombre and just strip.
It's the pre-planning that gets in our way. You get to just go to any shelf and go, that is.
But you know, I thought about it for a while. I
He
planned it in my
did plan
head.
it in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's
so you can now
really-
make this because it was just all this border is just 2.5 yards
Are
of
you
that ombre.
going to remember that? Can you at least put a note on it before you
I know it's
forget?
2.5 in a yard. The reason it was 2.5 yards is because a yard and a quarter is a 45
This
square.
was one ombre?
Yeah, it's this fabric.
That's a weird ombre. I always think the ombre is one color tone and it goes from light to
They have a
dark.
couple different types. So this one goes from
Oh, it
purple.
really does. It
to
goes
purple.
different colors
Yeah,
within
and
the same thing.
I had looked at
thought
going
you-
from a black to a, but I just like the way that. I like the colors
It's
in this ombre
beautiful.
really match the panel.
No, it does.
So
It
yeah,
does. Sweet.
I'm loving it.
so that's all there is to it. It was, like I said, not really.
So you're calling this done now?
Yeah, I'm gonna quilt it up and it'll be done.
Oh, all right.
I might finish this corner out because if you look closely, it's not quite square on the corners. Because I didn't
Well,
have
you're-
enough pieces.
You're a quilter. You can do. You can
Yeah,
make
well, no, I
anything
ran
work.
out of fabric to
So you
continue
can just
the.
put a little something in
Yeah.
there, a little wedge.
I might, yeah, or I might just leave it because it looks good enough like it is.
It'll
So anyway.
look nice when
Very-
it's bound
Yeah,
with that
Are
corner.
you doing that for him?
I'm gonna bind it in probably
Maybe.
like a black. I'm thinking.
That's really nice, Brent.
But anyway, so that's how that's made. Yay!
Very creative.
So if you see that
Now,
hanging
you
in the
need
shop,
Another challenge.
so
That was
if you're
very
watching
creative.
this in the future because you saw that hanging in the shop, that's how you make it. Because Eddie's gonna chop this out. We're gonna have a little playlist, the panel quilt, and
Oh my
that's
God. Hi, Lynn.
that's all there really is to it. Pretty straightforward, like I said, nice use of the ombre. But also, if you look at that, there's interesting things you can do with the ombre. That whole, you could do log cabins with it to get that gradation. It's just
I
some
know.
fun.
I have a quilt I'm working on now that uses ombre, but it's a different ombre. It stays within the same color tones. It
Yeah.
just goes from dark to light to dark again.
Yeah.
I love ombre.
I do too, but it's a challenge for me. This has got a lot of curved paper
And the
piecing
other
in it,
thing,
and it's really
if
it's a
you strip-
challenge.
and
Did
if
you
you-
use pins?
No.
You did. You did on this part.
Yeah, on that part I did, yeah.
Last week you used
The other,
pins.
the other thing too about ombres, if you strip everything ahead of time, remembering the order of the strips so that you get the
Yeah.
gradation.
Yeah.
What's nice about, what I really liked about the gemstones that Riley Blake does, if you get lost on where you're at in the gradation, what's interesting is the little diamonds in here.
So you took 2.5 yards and then you stripped
Stripped
this
it
way.
parallel, yeah.
Okay, all right.
But notice how the diamonds are black here and they're light over here.
oh,
so if you
interesting.
forget-
So they are different.
So if you forget which direction you're
They're
going in,
reversed.
yeah.
Oh.
So if you forget which direction you're going in, you can look at the little diamonds to remind you.
Hmm.
So that's, yep. So that's
totally
Workbench.
different than what I'm working with.